Welcome to Change Bites with Rafah Mustafa. Each episode features practical tips and actionable approaches to change management, grounded in real cases and delivered in small bites. A key takeaway snapshot is shared on the host's LinkedIn profile, so there's no need to take notes while listening. Let's begin today's episode.
Hello and welcome to Change Bites, the podcast where we explore practical insights to navigate change with clarity and confidence. Lately, the world has reminded us how quickly stability can shift. Global conflicts, economic volatility, and widespread uncertainty show us something important. Change is not always planned. Sometimes it arrives suddenly, without warning, without preparation, and without a roadmap. Today's episode is not about geopolitics. It's about what global crises teach change managers about leading through uncertainty. In this episode, we will explore three things. First, how people psychologically respond to sudden disruption. Second, why that response increases the need for visible leadership. And third, what practical actions change managers can take to stabilize people and organizations when uncertainty rises. Because whether disruption is global or organizational, the human response is remarkably similar. So let's get into it. So how people respond to sudden disruption? When something unexpected happens, people instinctively move into proactive mode. Attention narrows, emotions heighten, and the brain searches for certainty. And when information is incomplete, assumptions begin to fill the gaps. That's when rumors spread. That's when productivity drops. And that's when anxiety travels faster than facts. Research consistently shows that uncertainty increases stress and reduces people's ability to focus and to make decisions. When people feel uncertain, they are not being resistant. They are trying to feel safe. That distinction matters. Understanding this response is the starting point for effective change management. Because before we manage plans, we must manage emotional impact. And once we understand that response, the next question becomes, what do people need most? When people feel unsettled internally, they look outward. They look for someone to name what is happening, to clarify what is known and what is still unfolding, to provide calm. In uncertain environments, leadership visibility becomes more important than detailed planning. People do not expect perfect answers. They expect presence, they expect honesty, and they expect consistency. During times of crisis, many people experience emotions similar to grief, a sense of loss of predictability and normality. That means leaders are not just communicating information, they are helping people regulate emotion. And this is where change managers play a critical role. We help leaders communicate clearly and consistently. We reduce speculation and we prevent escalation. So, what can change managers actually do? If crises teach us anything, it is that The first priority in uncertainty is stabilization, not optimization. The goal is not to improve everything at once. The goal is to reduce further disruption. One practical step is to separate facts from assumption. When uncertainty rises, clarity becomes powerful. What do we know for certain? What are we still assessing? What decisions are pending? Simply naming this builds trust and reduces unnecessary fear. Another action is to shorten planning cycles. Instead of rigid long-term roadmaps, focus on what must happen now, what can wait, and what may need to pause. In unstable environments, short and frequent check-ins are far more effective than static plans. And alongside planning, communication becomes critical. Silence increases anxiety. Even when there is little new information, regular updates create reassurance. Consistency builds stability. But communication does not stop at sending updates. It is also about equipping leaders properly. Employees turn first to their direct manager for reassurance. If managers feel unclear, that uncertainty spreads quickly. Providing simple, aligned messages and likely questions prevents confusion across the organization. And finally, as change managers, we create space for questions. When people cannot ask openly, they speculate privately. Short forums, Q&A sessions, or structured feedback loops surface concerns early and reduce escalation. These actions are simple, but they are powerful. And when applied consistently, they create steadiness in unstable moments. If anything, uncertain times remind us what change management is truly about. It's not just plans and milestones, it's helping people feel steady while everything around them is shifting. Change management has always been about people, reducing anxiety, creating clarity. Think about it this way: uncertainty simply makes that more visible. Now, let's recap. Today, we explored how people respond psychologically to sudden disruption, why that response increases the need for visible leadership, and what that means for us as change managers. We talked about separating facts from assumptions, shortening planning cycles, maintaining consistent communication, equipping leaders with clear messaging, and creating space for open questions. These are practical ways we stabilize organizations during uncertainty. Crises remind us that leadership is not about having every answer. It's about reducing harm, creating clarity, and helping people move forward with confidence. Because when everything feels unstable, calm and intentional action becomes the most powerful form of change management. Thank you for listening to Change Bites. Stay clear, thoughtful, and continue leading change in a way that truly supports people.
Thank you for listening to Change Bites. A key takeaway snapshot from this episode is available on the host's LinkedIn profile. Links to all resources mentioned are included in the podcast notes. Podcast updates are also shared via the Agile-Brainz LinkedIn page. Follow Change Bites to stay up to date with future episodes.